This is my video pitch for a UK TV show called Fandom Files. My show will be 40 to 45 minutes long, so that when breaks are involved, it will last around an hour. I want my show to air on Channel 4 as it has aired shows with similar genres to mine, and they have been somewhat successful. My documentary will be about fandoms and all the different types. Each episode will introduce something new about fandoms and how they affect people's lives. The show will feature either extreme fans who dress up as their favourite characters and devote their lives to finding out everything about what they are fans of, the people who follow it religiously, and then there are the other fans who aren't quite as extreme but still follow what they are interested in somewhat. As my show is a documentary TV show, it will only feature the presenter throughout all of the episodes. The person I want to be my presenter is Stephen Mangan, as he has previously narrated and presented shows such as Three in a Bed, MTV Screenplay and Have I Got News for You. Three in a Bed is a similar genre to my show, as it is a documentary TV show. Mangan is the only essential cast I'll need, as he is the presenter. The only other people that will be involved within my show would be the members of the public that I interview, and perhaps a special guest that may or may not be involved in whatever fandom I'm covering it within that particular episode. This, however, would only happen once my show has gained more of a following. My target audience would be varied, as different fandoms would interest different people. This means the people that are interested in Disney-related things may not necessarily be interested in sports-related things, and the people that are interested in sports-related things may not be interested in YouTube-related things, and so on and so on. This is perhaps a downside to my TV show idea. A varied target audience would mean that not everyone would be interested in what my show is showing all the time, as fans are fans of different things. The people that are interested in games wouldn't be interested in the episode about novels, perhaps. So this means my viewings will vary quite a bit as well, depending on what episode I'm showing at the time. The key episode would be the one about Comic-Con. It will show how devoted fans are when they dress up as their favourite characters from books, games, TV shows, films, and comic books. Some people get really into the role that they've dressed up as and will use that role to prank other people that are dressed up. An example of this would be some fans that dressed up as Batman's parents. They went up to every Batman they could find at Comic-Con one year and collapsed in front of them, pretending to die as Batman's parents did. The Comic-Con episode would be a good place to get interviews from the public, as there'll be members of many different fandoms there, so we could get a varied response. Something that will constantly be involved throughout my TV show would be things such as fan fiction, fan art and fan-made videos. This would mostly appear in episodes that cover fandoms such as the Supernatural fan base. I will probably do an episode that purely covers fan fiction and fan art and fan-made videos, as it takes a lot of time and dedication to create such works. It will also be mentioned in other episodes that talk about shows such as the Supernatural show or Teen Wolf or films and many other things, as fan works can be created for pretty much everything. My legal and ethical issues would be that I'd have to contact the owners of all the content I wish to include within my show. If I want to talk about a specific show or film, I would have to get permission from the creators of said show or film. I would probably have to pay them a royalty fee so that I can use their works. I would also have to give credit to people that create fan works, such as the fan fiction and fan art. I will make sure there is a diversity between the different fandoms included within my show, so that a varied audience is attracted to my show and no one is left out. I don't want to single anybody out during the interviews, so when the interviews are done, I'll make sure that the members of the public are varied. I think this would be a good idea for a TV show, as People these days are always fans of something. The people that would watch this TV show would be a fan of the TV show. Because everyone is a fan of something, and some people, such as the ones that write the fanfiction and draw the fan art, they dedicate a lot of time into their work and they don't get recognition for it, as it is not something that is legally theirs. So this show would make it so that they feel included. Even if it doesn't specifically cover their piece of art, it would make them feel included because they get to see that other people like them are being recognised for their work, and they know that they're not just left in the dark. The show will help people understand how fandoms work, whether it be their own fandom or fandoms different from their own. It will show how certain fans express themselves, and how that despite the fact that people are from different fandoms, they still express themselves in similar ways. For my production schedule, I've made it so that the working week is from 9 till 5:30, Monday to Friday. This is a 42.5-hour week. There are 12 weeks in total. Week 1 is the making sure that the script and the storyboards for the first episode are complete. This is where we also make sure that everybody involved within the filming process is compatible with the script and storyboard. During this week, we should also apply for airing time on the channel I wish to air my TV show on, which is Channel 4. We should apply early on so that we make sure that there is an open spot ready when the episode is ready to be aired. Week 6. This is when everything's going to be checked over to make sure it's okay and it's all correct. This is where we've got to make sure that we've got all of the permissions we need to begin the filming and the resources we need to actually start the filming, such as costumes, sets, makeup, equipment, etc. Week 7 is when we start recording the scenes for the show. Still rehearsing some scenes, but this is where we will record the majority of them. Multiple takes may have to be made if the actor or crew member makes a mistake mid-take or if the weather suddenly changes. Week 12. The channel that we picked for the show to appear on should be then ready to accept the advert, which should be submitted alongside the episode. The channel would release the advert as a teaser for a week or two before releasing the first episode of the show. I want my launch date to be in October, as that is when it starts to get cold out. This means that there'll be more people inside watching TV and relaxing where it's warm. This means there'll be more people to watch my show. As for a date in October, I'll go for the 20th, as that way we still have a little extra time to make sure the show is perfect before it is aired. As my production goes on for 12 weeks prior to the launch date, this means that my production will start on the 28th of July. I'll give myself a week's leniency to make sure that I have everything ready. So production should start on the 21st of July instead. That way I can check that we have everything in before we begin production properly. The budget for my TV show is £850,000. I made it so that the budget was this, as it is purely for the pilot episode. I looked at other UK TV shows and their pilot episode was around a similar cost. I made a list of equipment that we'll need, and I wrote the to rent and to buy prices, as it may differ depending on how long we will need the equipment for. I also looked into transport, as my locations are going to change throughout each episode, so it might be easier to buy a minivan or a bus instead of rent one, as there will be different times and different places to go to, so it'll be much easier to own one rather than hire one all the time. We'll only need a minimalist crew. Most of the crew I found are currently down as freelance, but should they decide to work with us, we could increase their wage. But a freelance cameraman will work for between £50 and £100 an hour, which means that they will get either £2,125 a week or £4,250 a week. The freelance sound engineer I found will work for £29 an hour, which comes to £1,232.50p for a 42.5-hour week. Freelance producers will work for between £20 and £50. This will cost either £850 or £2,125 a week. A freelance editor will work for between £30 and £100 an hour. For a full 42.5-hour week, this will cost either £1,275 or for £4,250. A freelance script writer will work for between £20 and £35 an hour. Hiring them for a full working week will cost between £850 and £1,487.50. There is a catering company called the Nomadic Food Co., which specifically caters for film, TV, and fashion shoots. It's a good idea to hire this company, as they are professionals who have worked within similar conditions before. The company has previously worked with brands such as Next, Nike, Dior, and Gucci, and have also worked with magazines such as Hello Magazine, Love Magazine, Pop Magazine, and W Magazine. The only person who will need makeup within this is my only cast member, which is Stephen Mangan. The only other people who may need makeup is if I have a special guest, which isn't likely until my TV show gets a better following. The website for the company called Beauty Call states that their prices start from £60 an hour. I would need to pay a musician to create my intro music and possibly some of the jingles throughout my show. Some copyright-free jingles can probably be found online, so I might not need the musician to create that many. Once I have the intro and the jingles recorded, I shouldn't need the musician anymore, so that lowers the overall cost somewhat. Unlike the BBC, Channel 4 receives no public funding. It's funded entirely by its own commercial activities, which means I will have to get sponsors for my show so that I am able to fund it. As it is a documentary type show, it will mainly be advertised on the channel it is going to be aired on. There is a possibility that my show could be advertised on other documentary related channels, but it isn't very likely. However, because Channel 4 owns other channels that all advertise between themselves, it is likely that an advertisement for my show will appear on one of Channel 4's sister channels, such as 4/7, Film 4, E4, More 4, and etc. Product placement would help with the funding for my show, and a good source of product placement would be from our possible sponsors. For example, we could include fan-made tops for shows, merchandise sold by a TV show or website, hats, tops, bags, games, collectibles, etc. Because of what my TV show is about, I might be able to get sponsors from the shows and websites that will be featured within the show, such as Tumblr, DeviantArt, fanfiction.net, Archive of Our Own, Supernatural, etc. I'm planning on making my first episode about Disney. It will cover how people never really have to grow out of it, as there are still things that are produced by Disney that everyone can enjoy, such as smaller children can enjoy the animated Disney films, whether it be the classics or the new ones, and older people can enjoy the films such as the Pirates of the Caribbean series. And because of the franchises Disney has bought into, such as the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Star Wars universe, they can enjoy those films as well, because Disney has produced them. So no matter what age they are, there is always something that people can enjoy that is produced by Disney. Even the older people can still enjoy the cartoons, and the younger people can enjoy the more adult-targeted films. I've only done 2 pages of script and 2 pages of storyboard. My storyboard features the presenter introducing himself and the show, as well as the intro clip that will be shown on screen, which will show clips from things such as Tumblr, DeviantArt, Archive of Our Own, and then clips of fans from different areas such as sports, music, concerts, film premieres, and other places such as PAX and Comic-Con. At the end of this intro video, it will then fade to black, and the logo or name, depending on what I choose, will appear on the screen. For the title/logo, I've decided to use the Chalk Duster font, as it has the right kind of effect and gives the title the right look. Other fonts I was considering was the American Typewriter font, as I like the way it looks, or perhaps the Apple Chancery font, as it looks professional but elegant at the same time. I originally created a logo for my TV show, but I decided I might not use it as that, as not a lot of TV shows actually have a logo, especially ones of a documentary genre. However, I still may use the design in a poster for the advertising. This was my pitch for a UK TV show. I hope you liked it. Thank you.